Hello everybody and welcome to the F1 My Team Career Mode Season 2 finale with me, Dan, and the Radiant Racing team. We go into this race on 205 points apiece with our championship rival Valtteri Bottas in what will be a battle to the finish line to determine who will become the new Drivers' World Champion. Now, of course, we've been going on throughout this season now, 16 races. Well, this is the 16th race, and this is finally the end. We will, of course, have a Season 3 if I can get all of the videos done in time before F1 22 comes out. So don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell so you know when all of those videos are released. As I am attacked by the dog sat on my lap, we'll get on to the starting grid order for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and we did get pole position going into the final race of the season alongside Max Verstappen, followed by Sergio Perez and the first Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. Then we have Daniel Ricciardo and our championship rival Valtteri Bottas lining up on the third row of the grid, followed by Lando Norris, and then Esteban Ocon, of all people, makes it into the top 10. Then we have Yuki Tsunoda and Sebastian Vettel rounding out the top 10, as we've got quite a few grid penalties to go through. Then we have Lance Stroll, who lines up alongside George Russell, another fortunate player. Then Antonio Giovinazzi and Charles Leclerc in P14. Then we have Mick Schumacher, who's vanished alongside Fernando Alonso, followed by Pierre Gasly and Nikita Mazepin on the third row from the back. Then we have Carlos Sainz alongside Christian Lundgaard on the penultimate row. And finally, on the back row, it's Zhou Guanyu and Nicholas Latifi. Well, it comes down to this. Saudi Arabia playing host to the season finale of Season 2, and we're away into the final race of the season. Max Verstappen already gets alongside us and passed into the first corner as we come round into turn 2 now, powering down onto the straight. We got the yellow flags out, all ready for the virtual safety car. Clearly an issue further down the field. Let's go on board with us. Let's just have a look at our start here as we don't get away too badly, but Max Verstappen just absolutely flies past us into turn 1 and then cuts us off going into turn 2 there, which doesn't help us too much, to be honest. And then, of course, we can't come back in because of the virtual safety car. This was our teammate Zhou Guanyu from pretty much the back row, coming down behind up behind the Ferrari, and just completely smashes into the back of him. That is the last time that Zhou Guanyu will race for us. He's had a shocking amount of races over the at the end of this season, which has cost us for at least third position in the Constructors' Championship, and it's time for change, I think. But we get underway once again, an entire lap of the virtual safety car for some reason, even though it was just one front wing to clear up. And Verstappen not breaking away as much as he has done in the past. I've just seen George Russell made it overtake. He's up into 10th now for the Williams. Maybe Williams will actually score a point for the first time in 2 seasons. Mick Schumacher's actually not too far off doing that for Alfa Romeo as well. From our point of view, we are still in second, and we are dropping quite rapidly now to Max Verstappen as he pulls away on the Jeddah circuit. There's a marshal waving a yellow flag, yet there's nothing on the track to indicate that there needs to be. So once again, great job, Codemasters. And now we're under attack from Sergio Perez quite substantially now on lap 2. Of course, we will be saved from him getting DRS on the next go-round since we had the virtual safety car. We're just going to wait a couple more laps now. But he's already looking up the inside on this incredibly twisty straight. Into the chicane we go. Nice high-speed chicane. You know, the more I do this circuit, the more I begin to like it. Actually, it's very nice, very fast, very flowing in some sections. Not all of them, but others are good fun. But we cut off Sergio Perez there, who's trying to capture second place from us. The problem is, if that Red Bull gets ahead of us, although it is only Sergio Perez, that Red Bull's fast and he is going to escape, and we are not going to be able to do anything about it. But here it comes now, up the inside into turn 1. Of course, damage limitation. We just want to get to the end of this race ahead of Valtteri Bottas. if we can. And at the moment, that's going quite well because he is all the way down in 6th position. As we come flying around the circuit, you can see from this aerial shot just how fast Max Verstappen has broken away, as has Sergio Perez, and now we've got Lewis Hamilton having a look around the outside. We cover him off on that section there, and he's going to look up the inside into the final corner. Daniel Ricciardo now having a look up the inside as well. This is a disaster for us because Valtteri Bottas is right behind us now, but we may get DRS. Yes, we do. So does Ricciardo. As we come down the pit straight, Lewis Hamilton is a completely sitting duck right now. We've managed to squeeze past, and Ricciardo, unfortunately, didn't quite have the same effect with the DRS open as he would have liked. But he is still down in 5th position, and we've still got 2 cars buffer between us and our championship rival. Unfortunately, though, the Red Bulls ahead of us have gone into the distance. We are not going to get DRS from them again. We are on our own unless we can catch them up again and get that extra speed boost and tow down the straight. And clearly not happen though as we rejoin partway around lap 5, and we have lost the DRS quite substantially now to the Red Bulls. They are going to pick up a 1-2 here. We just can't do anything about that now, so we're going to have to just try our best to damage limitate as we get around the circuit. Lewis Hamilton's still trying to get past us now. He may even set himself up for a trap here as he overtakes right before the DRS detection point. And yes, of course, he will lose out there again as Daniel Ricciardo also looks to try and get past us in the McLaren. He goes right, and then nearly crashes into the barrier. We're going to have a look up the inside of Hamilton into the final corner, but Ricciardo goes around the outside of us as Hamilton locks up again. I think he locked up earlier into turn 1. And he's starting to break away from Ricciardo as we continue this pointless battle with him. Somehow we don't get DRS despite being behind a car. Or we just completely forgot to open it again. I mean, we do know that is entirely possible at this stage. But Ricciardo looks as though he compromised himself there, trying to get past Bottas. It does mean that we've got a good run on him now as we go on board for this section here, which I found that after you master it, is a very nice section with this double left-hander, then the double right-hander or single long right-hander, followed by that quick left again. It is very satisfying when you get that right, as are some of the other sections around this circuit. There you go, DRS is back open again, so we have remembered that it's there. And we'll go on board with Lewis Hamilton. So this was one of his passes on us earlier on lap 5. Looks like he's going to go for that. He nearly went for that gap down the inside and then backed out of it. And continued just to weasel his way through. And then finally gets the position ahead of us. We go on board with us because, of course, we had a bit of an adventure of our own. There goes Hamilton sneaking past us, but it does compromise our entrance to that corner, and in the mirrors you can see Daniel Ricciardo was right behind us here, using the full length of the racetrack just to try and get in his way as much as possible. Have a look down the inside of Hamilton, but that allows Ricciardo to open up and go around the outside. For some reason we must have lost DRS from Hamilton because here we don't open it and we just sit in the slipstream of the McLaren. Going down the pit straight into turn 1. He then battles Hamilton, compromises himself, and puts us both into contention for 3rd place once again. But anyway, we rejoin them on lap 6, or us on lap 6, going on to lap 7. Ricciardo's just coming to the pit lane for a very early stop, and we're going to have a look at the inside of Lewis Hamilton now. Into turn 1, we do force him across the curb, which does slow him down and pushes him back up into Valtteri Bottas. We only got that 1 car buffer now, so we need to make the most of Ricciardo coming into the pits and try and make sure that we get out back around the same point as him. As we have actually crossed the halfway mark now. Coming down. I think Lando Norris is going to challenge Valtteri Bottas now, coming into the final corner. This is exactly the sort of thing that we want to see as we come down the pit straight, and we're going to come into the pits now. We've had the call. And in we go. Norris is in as well, as is Ocon, who is amazingly still with us in this race. And there goes Lewis Hamilton into his pit box. So Bottas has stayed out. There's Verstappen. So it's going to come down to who can get round this outlap faster. And there's Daniel Ricciardo as well. Now, crucially, he's there, which means we might be able to get ahead of him now as we come out of the pit lane. We have compromised his exit from turn 2 because of coming out of the pit lane. And what that does mean for us is that now if Bottas is going to fall into the group behind after us getting the undercut on him, he is going to be in a very difficult situation when we get past him again in less than a lap's time, because he is potentially going to be behind Daniel Ricciardo, Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris, and maybe even Esteban Ocon if we're really lucky. Depends how much Ocon is pushing on this outlap, whether or not he's going to get that position off Bottas. We'll just have to see. But we'll power around the circuit now, weaving and winding around the streets of Jeddah, which always to me sounds a little bit like something out of Star Wars. It actually is a planet in Star Wars, I suppose, Jeddah. So maybe a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, it used to be set on Earth at some point or another. But anyway, we come into the final corner now. Ricciardo did not catch us, even though he had the DRS. Up ahead, there's Mick Schumacher following in Carlos Sainz to the pit lane. Sainz had a very terrible end of the season. Ferrari not done too well at all. But we're going to go past. Where's Valtteri Bottas? He's actually just there behind the fencing. We've come out ahead of him. Sergio Perez, still 3 seconds up the road, but what does it matter at this point? We've got 3-car buffer between us and our championship rival, and all we need to do is finish exactly where we are, and the championship win, that will be ours. As we rejoin later in lap 9, there's Bottas just behind all of these people here. So we've got some smoke there. Daniel Ricciardo is pulling over. That promotes up Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris, and of course Valtteri Bottas. Now the buffer, only 2 cars, and Valtteri Bottas less than 2 seconds behind us now. He does have Lewis Hamilton and Lando Norris fighting in front of him, which may push them backwards, but it's very hard to say at this stage, because if they are going to be sensible about things, which apparently they don't seem to be at the moment, they're still battling over P4, but they'll be giving Bottas the tow and the DRS, and those two leapfrogging each other over these fast sections will allow them to catch up, as Lando Norris now goes round the outside of Lewis Hamilton on the straight with the DRS. That could be good for us, because the McLaren, although fast, is not quite as fast as the Mercedes. So this is really going to compromise him now. Compromise Bottas and Hamilton. As we come round now into the final corner, Norris has opened the DRS and got past us, but we may get the DRS on him now. Yes, we do. Give us that extra bit of tow down towards turn 1, keep us ahead of the Mercedes. It looks like Valtteri Bottas was switched onto the hard tyre, which does mean we have the advantage here before the end of the race. He may have more tyres, but we definitely have more grip and response from the rubber as we go round these corners. Hard tyres, not something that you want on these 25% race distances. As we go very wide there, tyre wear now beginning to become an issue. DRS is about to come open, there it is. Not so much of a help down this particular straight, but perhaps later on it will help us stay a little bit closer to Lando Norris. We're actually dropping back slightly now. We're 3/4 of a second behind with 2.5 laps to go. We definitely need to catch up to get the DRS. Lewis Hamilton looking hungry to take 4th position away from us. So we come round the quick chicane into the DRS detection point. We have just about got DRS, but we're not going to get much of a tow from Lando Norris here, as we just make our car as wide as possible, trying to keep Lewis Hamilton behind us at all costs. As we come into the final corner, there's just 2 laps to go now. The McLaren still ahead of us, in the way, causing issues. As we come down towards turn 1, we need to take this position back if we're going to win this championship, or at least give ourselves a better chance of winning it. We did not get the position into turn 1 We'll have to rejoin them now. Partway around lap 12. Lewis Hamilton looking racy. He's still got a lot of battery saved up. He's going to look down the inside again. He's backed out of it. Into the chicane we go, and he's extremely close now as we go into the DRS zone. This is surely going to be an absolute disaster for us. As he goes around the outside now, there's nothing we can do. We can't squeeze him. He's going to go around. Valtteri Bottas also got the DRS. He's closing in on us too as we come into the final corner. We're going to get the DRS from the Mercedes of Hamilton, but it's going to be a final lap shootout between us and Valtteri Bottas for the championship win. As we cross the line onto lap 13, we're going to look around Lewis Hamilton, having a quick nose up the inside, but not quite worth the risk. Further down the order, Yuki Tsunoda for some reason is up into P7 ahead of Esteban Ocon now. Not that he's relevant right now, it's all down to this lap and how we finish it ahead of Bottas. How far ahead we finish of Bottas doesn't matter. As long as we are ahead of him, we have won this championship. As we complete this semi-lap of honour. Lewis Hamilton breaking away slightly as the tyre wear, which I mentioned in the last video, which is particularly bad on this car, starts to really shine through. But Bottas is really closed up now into the hairpin as we come into what will be the Mercedes territory on the circuit. It is much faster, the straight line. He's already looking around us as we come into the chicane. One of the many chicanes in this circuit. He's going to look around the outside now, and he draws alongside us. We're not in the DRS detection point now, but he has managed to get ahead before the quick chicane. That may be his undoing, though, as we come into the DRS detection. So we are going to get the DRS as we come round the final third of the circuit now. There's Bottas ahead of us. He's tried to go defensive, but he's run out of battery as we go up the inside. And that will be 10 championship points for us versus his 8. And we will become the Drivers' World Champion. We couldn't catch up to Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton, but we're going to cross the line. A World Champion, a celebration there to celebrate picking up that trophy, which we have long sought after on the channel. As we come round and Pierre Gasly picks up Driver of the Day, and we will of course Red Bull have got a 1-2 here. There's, after the background looking severely disappointed. How has this happened? How? I don't understand. I mean, he has just got 5 wins in a row, which, what, 125 points? If he didn't get fastest lap? So I can understand him moving up a few positions. I don't understand how he has won the championship from 6th position in the standings from a few races ago to become a Drivers' World Champion. Well, as I continue to ponder at how on earth this has happened, here are the race results. He did, of course, pick up the fastest lap, sealing him 26 points, and was followed on the podium by Sergio Perez and Lando Norris. The rest of the field goes as Lewis Hamilton, ourselves, Valtteri Bottas, Yuki Tsunoda, Esteban Ocon, Charles Leclerc and Pierre Gasly picking up the final point. Over in the Drivers' Championship, Max Verstappen has somehow won by 2 points and has completely humiliated me and Valtteri Bottas in the final race of the season. We were followed by Lewis Hamilton, Sergio Perez, Lando Norris, Daniel Ricciardo, Charles Leclerc, Pierre Gasly, Carlos Sainz round out the top 10. And over further down the order, we've got Fernando Alonso, Yuki Tsunoda, Esteban Ocon, Sebastian Vettel, Zhou Guanyu, who will not be rejoining this team, Lance Stroll, followed by George Russell, Nicholas Latifi, Mick Schumacher, Christian Lundgaard, Antonio Giovinazzi and Nikita Mazepin. And finally, over in the Constructors, Mercedes did walk away with the trophy. picking up 10 points ahead of their rivals Red Bull. Then we had McLaren, Radiant Racing, Ferrari ahead of AlphaTauri, then Alpine, Aston Martin, Williams, Alfa Romeo and Haas. That's all from this confusing Season 2 finale. I'll catch you next time with the final season on F1 2021.